Let's look at a module in a syllabus for the redesign classes. I will actually go over the 065 module 1. The 55 and 85 classes are very similar. 55 and 65 have 7 modules. 85 has 6 modules. Now the 7 modules for 55 and 65, the first 3 are work, and the 7th one is the final exam. For 85, the first 5 are work, and the 6th one is the final exam. So what you want to do first is in this case for 065 module 1 and for 85 module 1 and for 55 module 1, read the syllabus. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the screen a little bit easier to see. Now what you see here within the MyMathLab module 1 is not the official syllabus, only because it doesn't have your instructor's information, but everything else should be consistent. So what this class requires, you need to buy the Transitional Mathematics Workbook, which includes the MyMathLab access code and a workbook that's used for the videos. For 55, we can only use the calculator within the MyMathLab system. Whenever you see it, you can use it. In the 65 and 85 classes, you can use scientific calculator, the MyMathLab calculator, or a Texas Instruments TI graphing calculator numbered 84 or below. Keep that in mind. So if you know you need to take college algebra, highly recommend it for you to go ahead and buy the TI 84 or 83 graphing calculator. As for Math 55 and Math 85. Once again, this number right here is a very important number. You may want to write that down somewhere for safekeeping. If you ever have any issues with MyMathLab, that's the number you want to call. Your instructor will provide the information for their official syllabus. That's just the same thing as this, except with their information. This is some information for people that work in the division that you may need to call. You can read the module descriptions for yourself, whichever class you're in. Grading criteria: 75% of the class is based on the modules, 25% is based on the final exam. In order to pass either 55, 65, or 85, you must make at least 50% in the final exam and have an overall course average of 70%. And you will. And if you get to the final exam, which most people do, on the first attempt, tends not to be an issue. You just gotta make sure you finish the class, or each class. The MP grade is a really big deal. First off, notice that we have 10-point grading scale. The MP grade is only given if you complete at least 3 new modules and you haven't been absent for more than 450 minutes, which is roughly 6 75-minute class meetings. Now, the MP grade is not a passing grade, but what it does mean though is if you do earn it, that means that those modules that you completed, when you take the class the next semester, you don't have to finish the modules that you haven't completed yet. So for example, say you finished 3 modules in 055 and that's as far as you got, and you met the attendance requirement, and so you got halfway through module 4 but you didn't complete it. What we'll do is we'll take those module grades for modules 1, 2, and 3 and transfer those over to the next semester. So in this case it'll be spring, and you'll begin module 4. Even though you halfway finished module 4, you gotta start at the very beginning of module 4. If you want to receive failing grade in here, don't meet the attendance requirement, don't complete at least 3 brand new modules, or cheat. I mean, it's 3 main ways. What I mean by 3 brand new modules, some people already have an MP from a previous semester or modules for some other reason, which we'll talk about later. So say you're bringing in 2 modules because you finished 055 early and you're now in 065, but you finished 2 modules of 065 while you were in 055. In order to not fail the class or to get an MP, you must complete at least 3 new modules. That would be modules 3, 4, and 5. And that could happen. If you want incomplete, you must have a really good reason first off, and then have completed at least 5 modules. Final exam. December 9th to the 13th is the week of final exams. The final exam can actually be taken earlier if you finish all the modules earlier, so keep that in mind. And the final exam can be taken more than once, and keep that in mind. Do not cheat in these classes. The number one way to cheat is to use a cell phone when you're not supposed to, or look at a website that you're not supposed to. If you get caught cheating, you could actually be kicked out of class. More than likely what's going to happen is all the work you completed for the particular module will be deleted and you have to start over. Withdrawals, you have until midterm withdrawal on your own. After that, you need your instructor's signature. You can read most of this for yourself, even though there's really no punishment for late work or written, or well, for late work really, because everything can be made up. You may lose some bonus or possibilities for bonus points. That's the main thing. Attendance is a big deal. Not only does it help you in math class, but it's also calculated into your attendance grade. So keep that in time. Keep that in mind. And the written work policy, it's also included within the attendance grade, or it could be. Once again, do not cheat in these classes. Do not. Here's how a typical module works. And let me show you. Let me show you how these look. So let's go to the to-do list. That's where you always want to start. First thing, for the 065 Module 1 or the 085 Module 1, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to click on the Module 1 Assignments link or tab, and you're going to see something like this, where you're going to see the assignments pop up. For 065 and 085, you'll see a course pretest. This doesn't exist in 055. This course pretest is only for those people, for example, in 065, that haven't had 055 yet. And you're not for sure if you're ready for 065. So what you want to do is take that course pretest wherever you want and as soon as possible, preferably first day at home or in class if you have time. And your instructor may not even look at that at all. But here's the thing about this course pretest. If you find yourself struggling and you want to switch to 055 because you want to be refreshed before you take the 065 class, let your instructor know immediately, because there may be time for you to switch from 065 to 055. That's also true from 085 to 065 or even to 055. But take that for your own benefit. It's not part of the grade. It's not calculated into the grade. Totally up to you if you take it or not. If you haven't had 055 and you're in 065, or if you're in the 085 class and you haven't had 065 or 055, take the course pretest just for your own benefit. That's only for you. Now what you're going to see is, besides that, you're going to see a module pretest. Every module begins with a pretest officially. Pretest does not count as part of the grade. If you do make at least a 90% on the pretest, you are done with this whole module. All these other assignments you don't have to do. All the tests are, besides this course pretest, all the pretest and exit tests are password protected, and they must be taken in the math lab, in the math room, with your instructor or with the instructional specialist. So keep that in mind. Starts with the pretest. Some people don't take the pretest seriously at all, and they just go in there and submit it because they don't care and they want to get and start working on the homework, and that's perfectly fine, especially in the 85 class. That's perfectly acceptable. If you feel like you're not going to make a 9 in the pretest, don't worry about it, but do not guess on the pretest. And the reason is because the homework assignments are tied to the pretest. So if whatever you get right in the pretest, the associated homework problems are counted correctly also. Now if you guess right on the pretest, the homework problems will be counted correctly. But if you don't get the 9 in the pretest, you may not have an opportunity to practice those on the homework. So do not guess. It's actually a bad thing to guess on the pretest. And furthermore, the homework assignments do not open up until you do the pretest. That's why these flags are here. You've got to do the pretest first before the homework 1 will pop up. And you can't do homework 2 until you do homework 1. The way the class works is take the pretest, do the homework. Go from one homework assignment to the next, you got to make an 80 on the previous homework assignment. Got that? That's what those flags mean. To get to the exit test, you have to have an 80 on all the homework assignments for that particular unit. What you're also going to notice are some videos. These are actual lectures that have been made. These videos have associated notes with them, and the notes can be found in your notebook. or you can click here and you can watch the videos first, and here's one place to find the notes. So there's two places to find those videos, either here or in the assignments. What some people do is they'll come here and they'll watch all of the videos first, and there's some extra ones, and they'll watch all the videos and then they'll take the pretest, hoping they'll get a 90 or higher, not have to do any of the work, and that's perfectly fine. Part of this class is strategy, whatever you need to do. But if you do have to do the homework, remember you got to make it 80. When you open up homework 1, after you take the pretest, you may see that you've already got a grade. That's because some problems work out correctly based on what you got right in the pretest, so don't be surprised if you see that. Now you look down here and you may think that there's a lot of work to do. There's actually not. Because once you get to this attempt 1 on the exit test, if you make an 80 or higher, you're done with the module. So there's two ways to get out of a module. Make a 90 on a pretest, and you only get one attempt on the pretest, or make an 80, at least an 80, on any exit test attempt. On any of them. So if you're making at least an 80 on the first one and you're satisfied, you're done. If you don't, or if you're not satisfied, then you do this practice homework. And the reason why you get this practice homework, it's based on what you did wrong or what you missed on the attempt 1. It's to better prepare you for the second attempt. And as you can tell, you have to make at least a 95% on that practice homework in order to access the second attempt. But keep this in mind: the practice and the extra attempts are only needed if you don't make an 80 on the previous attempt, or if you're not satisfied with your 80 or higher. These quizzes are only required if you need the third attempt, and you have to make 80s on those. And the review is only required if you need the fourth attempt. You have to do all the reviews, but you have to make at least an 80 on the reviews. They're not personalized like the other homework assignments are. And here's some more videos, same as they were over here. We put them everywhere. So just as a refresher, the way a typical module works is you take the pretest, if you make a 90 or higher and you're satisfied, you're done. Otherwise you do the homework, so 80% or higher, till you get to the exit test. Once you get to the exit test, once you make an 80 or higher, you're done if you're satisfied. And there's also a bonus question for the exit test. Your instructor can tell you more about that. But that's pretty much how a module works. Now over here, you can look at the grade book for this particular module to keep up with your grades. Study plan is just for practice. That's all it is nothing but practice. Here's some more practice handouts that you can do. And then the ebook is the electronic version of your textbook. Got that? That's just a typical module. So what we're going to do now is go back to the syllabus. And that was at the course or module procedures. And that's what I just got done talking about. The module grades for a particular module, the attendance is 10% with exit test work. Homework is 30%, and the exit exam is 60%. But since we require 80, at least 80 on everything, you're gonna have a pretty good score, unless you miss a lot of days. You'll have at least an 80 average, unless of course you miss a lot of days. Final exam, like I said, you can take it more than once. The danger of waiting to do your work is that you may only get one attempt during the final exams a week. If you wait till then to take the final exam. We prefer you finish this class in a matter of 3 or 4 days. It's not going to happen, but you never know. The sooner you get it done, the sooner you get to the final exam. And the sooner you get it done, the sooner you get to the final exam, the more you're not going to be able, the more that you won't forget. It's actually, you'll probably do really, really well if you finish this class within a matter of a few weeks. You'll do really well in the final exam. The overall course grades based on, for the 5.5 and 6.5 classes, 12.5% for each module, 15% for each module in the 85 class. Now, for the 55 and 65 classes, and at 85, if you only finish 3 or more modules, but not the class, and you meet the attendance requirement, you're eligible for an MP grade. What that means is, once again, that you did not pass the class, but you have to re-enroll but you don't have to do the modules over that you've already completed. That's a good thing. So, if you got any questions about that, make sure you talk to your instructor. Now, if you're in 65 or in 55 and you find that you complete the class early, you can proceed immediately to the next class. The reason why you can, for one thing, is the access code is good for all 3 classes if you buy it at the bookstore. It's good for all 3 classes. So let's say you're in 055 and you finish the class early in the final exam, you're done. What you can then do is you start working the 65 modules. Any module that you complete in 065 is one less module that you have to do the following semester when you take 065. But let's say that you finish all of 055 and then you finish all of 065 and put in the final exam. What you've just done is earn a free class. You'll get something called step credit, and make sure that you fill out that form before you leave. Your instructor will have a form for you to complete so you can get the step credit. Totally free, nothing at all extra in cost if you complete in the same semester. If you don't complete in the same semester, you have to pay for the class, but you have to pay for it anyway. Just may not have as much work. So if you're in 065, same thing goes for the 085 class. If you finish 065 early, you can finish 085 early, get a free class. If you're in 055, you can actually finish all 3 classes in one semester and get 3 classes for the price of 1. So take advantage of that. Now here's the due dates for each module. 085 will be slightly different. If you have any questions, just be sure to ask your instructor. That's what we're here for. You won't see any lectures in the classroom, but your instructor and whoever else is in there with your instructor can provide you with any help that you need. Just be sure to ask.